This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the X. We keeping the foot on the what? On the X. You know I gotta be in beanie mode. No, I gotta be in beanie mode. You know I gotta be in beanie mode. No, I gotta be in beanie mode. Now let's get on to the video. Hear me? Hear me? Wow, we getting into beanie mode. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. Here's the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, the cutthroat from fashion. The truth of the fact of the matter is this. Devin Haney is crispier than a three-piece. Let me say it again. Devin Haney is crispier than a three-piece in the fucking boxing ring. He fell his ass up under the Mayweathers. See, here's the fundamental difference between a Devin Haney and a Teofimo Lopez. You want to know there's a similarity or simile between the two? They both have annoying as fuck, irritant dads that don't know their place. But you know what Bill Haney learned as opposed to Teofimo Lopez Sr.? Step to the fucking side. Let me say it again. You know what Bill Haney learned as opposed to Teofimo Lopez Sr.? Step to the fucking side. You have to know when you as the father can be a detriment to your son. You can't be living vicariously through your son. You're supposed to build your son up. Let me say it again. You can't be living vicariously through your son. You have to build your son up. That's right, we can multitask. It was a mosquito coming this way. He knows the sport had to. That's what he knows the sport does. He multitasks like nobody's business. Now, let's get back onto the video. Bill Haney understood, or he understands. Let me say it again. Bill Haney understood, or he understands, after that Alfredo Santiago fight, his son had some chinks in the armor. He had that choppy overhand right that was predictable as fuck. And it was going to get exposed. So he had to humble himself and say, you know what? My son was crispier than a three-piece when he was with the Mayweathers. Mayweather Sr. had him looking crispier again than a what? A freaking three-piece. So we're going to fall his ass up under the Mayweathers so that his ass can be in line with the Mayweathers so they can get his ass back on point. And what's happening? Now he's working with Money May. Say it again. He's working with Money May. And you see him slipping punches. You see Devin Haney rolling off of the ball of the pivot of his foot. You see Devin Haney showcasing to you guys the shoulder roll on the Mayweather-esque level. Not that bullshit shoulder roll that Andre Berto was doing. Not that bullshit shoulder roll that the super duper hype job variation Teofimo Lopez does. Not that bullshit shoulder roll that Adrian Broner does. But the real Mayweather-esque shoulder roll. This is why Devin Haney is and will always be a guy that's not, i.e., a dreamer, like his haters want to say. Devin Haney is the dream. He's real deal. Because what Devin Haney shares from a Floyd Mayweather is that insane work ethic. Let me say it again. What Devin Haney shares from a Floyd Mayweather is that insane work ethic. That's what he's inherited. That is what's made Floyd Mayweather say, I'm proud of this kid. And I want him to gravitate and fall his ass up under me. And Mayweather's teaching him all of the tricks. How to hold. How to push off the opponents. How to use your elbow effectively. How to grapple. How to get yourself out of exchanges. How to throw combinations. How to rip the body. How to make sure that you use your angles. How to feint appropriately and efficiently. Devin Haney is learning this stuff. This is what we call boxing. Hit and don't get hit. That's the sweet science. Not that bullshit come forward style that the Mexican community fan base tell you, oh, I'm going to die for la raza. Let me say it again. I'm going to die for la raza. Nah, it's not that bullshit. Teofimo Lopez, the problem with him is his dad is teaching him a style that's going to get him in trouble. See, what's helping Teofimo Lopez is the fact that he has athleticism and he has explosiveness on his side. But that only goes so far. And he has a ceiling cap. Let me say it again. What's helping Teofimo Lopez right now is he has athleticism and he has explosion. But that only goes so far. It's like a pandering narrative. It has a ceiling cap. Once it goes up, woo, it must come tumbling down. It's like a pandering narrative, man. It has a ceiling cap. Once it goes up, woo, it must come tumbling down. That's the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, and the cutthroat true teller fashion. So when you look at the distinction and the separation between a Devin Haney and a Teofimo Lopez, you have to look at what they bring to the table. Teofimo Lopez is a roughshod gambler. He knows the sport keeps denoting this. He lets his hands down. Like Earl the True Spence said, hand down what? Man down. Let me say it again. Like Earl the True Spence said, hand down, man down. What happened to Roy Jones Jr. when the athleticism and explosiveness left his ass and he met Antonio Tarver? What happened to Sergio Martinez when the athleticism and the explosion left his ass? He met Miguel Cotto. You see, guys that fight in the bullshit hand-down style, which is not boxing, gets exposed when they least expect it or when they don't want to get exposed. Let me say it again. They get exposed when they least expect it or when they don't want to get exposed. You can't fight that way against high-tech Vasiliy Lomachenko and think that he's a Richard Coleman. He's going to play this gambling game with you. Loma's not going to fight that type of fight. Loma's going to go in there and respect a Teofimo Lopez's power. He's going to make sure he stays away from the dangerous waters of the power because Lomachenko can angle his ass off. Lomachenko can fade his ass off. And what people don't understand is he has an amateur background pedigree of fighting. I'm not the biggest Loma fan, man. I'm not high on Loma stock because his back foot is shit. Let me say it again. I'm not the biggest Loma fan and I'm not high on his stock because his back foot is shit. He has that step in and step out that he does at such a very fast pace like a Manny Pacquiao that gives you the illusion that he has a back foot. His back foot is shit. But what I do know is under the bright lights and from an experience standpoint, he has more than enough in the arsenal in the tank to expose a super duper hype job variation a la Teofimo Lopez. And let's just say Teofimo Lopez gets by Vasiliy Lomachenko by puncher's chance. Because in boxing, there is a puncher's chance. And that's the truest and the most properest levels that a Teofimo Lopez has. A puncher's chance. He still has to deal with the likes of a Devin Haney. This is why he ducked Devin Haney. This is why him and his dad called Devin Haney an email champ. Because they respect what Devin Haney's bringing to the table. When you see him come out hot and bothered like grits, matter of fact, extra hot and bothered like grits. Let me say it again. When you see him come out hot and bothered like grits, matter of fact, extra hot and bothered like grits, to say that Devin Haney ain't Mayweather. It ain't like we're going to be fighting Mayweather in the ring. It don't matter if Mayweather's training you. That's somebody that's insecure and miserable as you know what, because he understands that the master boxer is teaching Devin Haney. And Devin Haney has the work ethic, he has the engine, and he has the ingenuity to figure it out. And the Teofimo Lopez family don't want Devin Haney learning that shit. Because they know eventually, all roads are going to collide between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. This is why you see the super duper hype job fanboys are calling Devin Haney, who they once even themselves revered as one of the top of the crop, they're calling him the dreamer now. See what I'm talking about? Reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders. What happened to Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson 1A and 1B? You guys had Devin Haney ranked higher than Teofimo Lopez. Now all of a sudden y'all not keeping that same energy? Let me say it again. All of a sudden y'all not keeping that same energy? It's because, like I told you, these coon, Uncle Tom, racist type of fan base motherfuckers. They want their cake and they want to eat it too. We all know Devin Haney's better than Teofimo Lopez. The true boxing eye test reveals this to you. And when all roads collide and they fight each other, if Teofimo Lopez Jr. doesn't learn the cardinal rule of making Teofimo Lopez Sr. step to the side, Devin Haney is going to expose his ass crispier than a fucking three-piece. Let me say it again. If Teofimo Lopez Jr. doesn't understand the cardinal rule that Teofimo Lopez Sr. needs to step to the side, Devin Haney is going to expose Teofimo Lopez crispier than a fucking three-piece. When the dream versus the super duper hype job variation fight, and that's if Teofimo Lopez gets by Vasiliy Lomachenko by a puncher's chance, Devin Haney's gonna expose his ass. By then he'll be too fucking good from a boxing ability. And don't even let me think of Shakur Stevenson. That's a boxing extraordinaire. Let me say it again. Don't even let me think of Shakur Stevenson. That's a boxing extraordinaire. That's a guy that would not only he embarrass Teofimo Lopez, he'll make Teofimo Lopez say, "Dad, I think the pressure's too much. I'm gonna quit boxing." Let me say it again. "Dad, I think the pressure's too much. I'm gonna quit boxing." When it comes to Shakur Stevenson and a Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez can't even stand in the same room, let alone the same breath with these motherfuckers. One is crispier than a three-piece, and the other one's a boxing extraordinaire. I keeps the foot on the what? On the hex. I keeps the foot on the what? On the hex. Once a rough shed, rough house, rough shot gambler, always a rough shed, rough house gambler, rough shot variation of a super duper hype job. This is Hino's Sport. Check it out.